Here's your wrestling news for June 12th, 2021. And your headlines for today include Edge very likely for a match at SummerSlam 2021. Why build Mysterio as a title challenger on Smackdown only for him to say he knows he isn't going to win? Braun Strowman's asking price, other expensive privileges for indie bookings are revealed. Released WWE superstars no longer allowed to sign autographs using old names. WWE rehired released WWE wrestler. Samoa Joe could be heading back to WWE very soon. WWE eyeing 8-time WWE champion for Survivor Series 2021 return. Major botch by WWE on last night's Smackdown. Kenny Omega is dealing with multiple painful injuries. WWE wrestlers suffered rib injuries during WWE Smackdown, and more. We're starting today with Edge, who hasn't been seen since WrestleMania when both he and Daniel Bryan came up short against Universal Champion Roman Reigns. Since returning from his retirement last year, Edge has mostly competed in front of 0 fans with a contract that is reportedly earning him $3 million a year as long as he wrestles at least 3 times a year and is scheduled to make 25 more appearances on WWE television. According to Wrestling Observer newsletter, Edge's next match is already in the works as it's being reported that the Rated R superstar will be competing at SummerSlam. We already know that WWE has announced Edge for the July 16th Smackdown, which will be the first televised WWE show in over a year with live fans in attendance. It's been previously reported that WWE plans on making this year's SummerSlam as big as WrestleMania 37, though according to PW Insider, WWE is only putting about 50 to 60% of the total 65,000 seats in Allegiant Stadium up for sale, though are expected to open up more if demand warrants them. We'll have to see how many fans pay to go to SummerSlam, and bringing back the Hall of Famer for his next match would certainly help bring a lot of attention to the biggest party of the summer. Smackdown news now as Roman Reigns opened up this week's show as usual, but instead of the Tribal Chief, it was Jimmy Uso who cut a scathing promo to kick things off, speaking about the tension between himself and Reigns rather than the Universal title. The show also saw a furious Rey Mysterio call out Reigns, as the SmackDown Tag Team Champion was still enraged about Reigns attacking Dominic last week. Challenging the Tribal Chief to a match inside Hell in a Cell, it was odd that Rey said he knows he won't win against Reigns, but wants to fight him anyway, and the Universal Champion accepted the challenge for Hell in a Cell. WWE isn't even being subtle about the outcome of this match, and we're questioning why build a challenger for the richest prize on SmackDown who doesn't even believe they're going to win. Rey is often called the ultimate underdog, but his credibility was instantly thrown out the window on SmackDown, and we can only hope the pair at least put on an entertaining, albeit predictable match at Hell in a Cell. Last week, WWE shockingly released Braun Strowman as the company didn't want to keep paying his $1.2 million a year contract. Since his release, reports have noted that Strowman is charging a 5-figure number for appearances on the Indies, though Braun recently refuted this claim, saying he's not even spoken to anyone about making deals. Now, PW Insider, who were the first to report on Strowman's 5-digit figure, is doubling down on their previous report, as they wrote, Strowman's manager Nick Anticelli has quoted $20,000 to $25,000 for a 3-hour appearance to multiple promoters who have reached out with their interest in Strowman in making appearances. In addition to $25,000, Strowman is also reportedly asking for first-class air travel, 2 nights in a hotel, and meals as part of the deal, and all ground transportation has to be covered by the promotion too. On Instagram this week, Strowman showed his new look, saying he cut his beard for the first time in a decade and now is sporting some much neater facial hair. With all these expenses plus Strowman's $25,000, it'll be expensive for promotions to hire the former superstar. And whilst Braun won't be earning anything like his $1.2 million WWE contract, he won't be going hungry either. More release news is WWE cut a lot of superstars in the past few weeks, but those who were let go still need to follow some WWE rules after their departure. In The Observer, it's reported that WWE contracts say superstars can't do any events or appearances once released using their old name, which makes sense, but they also can't sign anything under their WWE name either. For example, Braun Strowman can't work in any other promotion as Braun Strowman, but he also can't sign anything as Strowman, even if it's a photo or piece of merchandise from his WWE tenure. Instead, he'll have to sign it as Adam Scherr, his real name, or another name that isn't owned by WWE. Plenty of previously released superstars and legends still appear on the indies, signing autographs for fans. And whilst it's unknown just how far back this edict goes, it appears that it at least applies to WWE's recent releases. This is obviously an attempt on WWE's part to restrict released superstars from using the company's intellectual property, which in this case is the superstar's name themselves, but it also means that any autographs featuring an ex-superstar's WWE name are more valuable for collectors. Last year, WWE released a ton of people backstage, as the company didn't need as many names around because they weren't touring, and Sean Daivari was one of them. Now, the former superstar turned producer is back, as PW Insider reports that Daivari was backstage at last night's Smackdown, starting his job for the company again. In his year away from WWE, Daivari was working for NWA as a producer, but has been rehired by WWE as there's now a push to add more producers ahead of the return to live events. During his year away, Daivari returned to the ring, appearing for Impact Wrestling, MLW, and a few indie promotions, and after he received very strong marks backstage in WWE for his work as a producer, he's now back doing just that for Vince McMahon once more. Speaking of returns, Samoa Joe was cut from WWE on April 15th this year, but he may be coming back very soon. That's according to Fightful, who report that Joe could be heading back to NXT, something that he could do before his 90-day non-compete clause expires. It's reported that numerous NXT talent and staff on Friday heard that NXT was thinking about bringing Joe back and that NXT wants him back as a wrestler. Joe hasn't competed in over a year as he suffered a concussion whilst filming the Must Be Monday commercial for Raw in early 2020 and instead spent his last year in WWE on commentary. The former NXT champion hasn't appeared anywhere after his release because he's still subject to a 90-day non-compete clause, and it was also reported that some talent believe it's inevitable before a deal is signed between Joe and NXT. At this time, no WWE officials have confirmed anything, and there's no real indication that a deal has been reached, but plenty of people in WWE expect Samoa Joe to be back very soon. More return news now, as The Rock is always welcomed by WWE at their events, though his busy Hollywood schedule usually keeps him away. Now, the Brahma Bull's next appearance may just be months away, as the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that there is a hope in WWE that The Rock will do an appearance at Survivor Series. The belief is that a Rock appearance at Survivor Series would set up the long-speculated program with his cousin Roman Reigns, culminating in a match at WrestleMania 38. The Rock vs. Reigns match was teased for this year's WrestleMania, which would have been a huge deal, especially as the show was originally meant to be at Los Angeles' SoFi Stadium, but that match never took place. Of course, any plans for Survivor Series are subject to change, and no plans are locked down, but if WWE gets their way, the Great One will return this November and kick off a major feud with the Tribal Chief. More Survivor Series news, as though the show is over 5 months away, WWE is already locking down plans. On the Mat Men Pro Wrestling podcast, Andrew Zarian said that WWE is thinking about bringing Survivor Series to Brooklyn, New York. Zarian didn't specify a venue for the show, though given that the Barclays Center has been WWE's go-to arena for all shows in Brooklyn for several years, it's likely that fans will be packing the Barclays Center this November for Survivor Series. Over to SmackDown now, as WWE's production team are always kept busy during the 2-hour show, with someone having to be ready to hit every button and cue up every graphic, and last night's show saw a graphic that wasn't expected. Last night, Bayley hosted another Ding Dong Hello segment, though it might have been her last given that Cesaro destroyed the set while using Seth Rollins' body. When Bayley made her way to the ring, though, a graphic flashed on screen referring to her as WWE Champion Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. Just to be clear, the former SmackDown Women's Champion isn't the Beast incarnate, and it's interesting that WWE would make this mistake, as Lesnar hasn't been in WWE for over a year. That said, he was recently re-added to the roster page on WWE.com, And whilst WWE removed the graphic in a hurry, fans were still able to screenshot this unfortunate botch. Now, as AEW World Champion, Impact World Champion, and AAA Mega Champion, Kenny Omega is one of wrestling's hardest workers and has been suitably booked as one of the best champions in recent history. Unfortunately, all of that work has taken a toll on the cleaner, as according to a report by Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Omega is dealing with a lot of injuries and is in a lot of pain. He writes, "Omega's hurting pretty badly between slicing up his hand and needing 7 stitches when he delivered the 4th belt shot on Pac in the 3-way, the one with the AEW belt, which is especially sharp, a deep bone bruise near his tailbone, the normal wear and tear on his knees, and an athletic hernia. He was also suffering from a stomach virus this past week." At the recent Double or Nothing Fan Fest, Omega said that he has days where he's hurting so much he feels ready to hang up his boots for good, but added that having real fans in attendance when he competes helps him feel better. Hopefully, Omega is able to overcome this pain and keep competing, as it'd be a crime for any of his current incredible title runs to end with him vacating the gold. And we're ending with more injury news as Montez Ford is recovering from a vicious beatdown he suffered at the hands of Otis last night. On WWE.com, it said that Ford suffered a partial rib fracture and torn intercostal cartilage, and at the time was being evaluated at a local medical center. Time will tell when Ford is back in the ring, but we imagine he'll be wanting revenge, as well as the smoke, when he's able to compete once more. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.